got a crooked steering wheel and a gear you can't find.
But that's the way that I like it, so don't turn me around. She's such a red hot beauty when she sticks to the curve, and I can crank her up to speed when I'm getting the urge.
But that souped up engine makes an awful sound.
You better stop your whining or you're walking to town. And if you wanna ride, then honey, take a seat. But you better be sure that you can take the heat.
Hello there, I'm doing a collaboration this week with Lolita Haze, who is also a teacher of hair tutorials here on YouTube, and she has bright platinum blonde hair that seems to just do whatever she tells it to do. So I am a big fan. I've always liked her tutorials, and she's recently started making them in earnest. So make sure you check her channel out and the video links below, which will be her version of this collaboration, or her edition in this collaboration. This collaboration is the country broad and the city broad. We actually came up with this idea because we thought it would be kind of cool to do sort of a country versus city example of a vintage hairstyle. So she's got one that she's doing that's more of a city girl, and I'll be doing this one today, which is a little bit more of what I would consider sort of petticoat junction, a little bit country. This is actually something that, when I think about it, I think it probably could work for a bridal hairstyle as well if you're having a casual wedding. But this was one that I just kind of came up with based on some pictures that I've seen in the just recently kind of glancing around looking at more casual vintage hairstyles, pictures that I've seen of different hairstyles, and I thought this would be kind of fun. So the first thing I did is I did a layer of pin curls on the top so as to avoid any dents or anything, because they could potentially show in this style. And then I did the rest of my hair in foam rollers, and I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the rollers. I sprayed each section with a Lolita Body setting lotion solution before I rolled it. And I slept on these last night. Another thing that you will need for this style is you will need some hairspray. I love my Shaper Plus hairspray from Sebastian because it's humidity friendly. And I've also got my Denman styling brush, which is my favorite holy grail brush. I also love to use my paddle brush from Denman. This is the one I use to break up my curls initially. I've got a comb with a nice little separator edge on it I may or may not use. And then I've got some bobby pins. I like the ones from Sally Beauty that are the Meta Grip pins, and the ones I like them in black. I rarely ever buy another color. Even when my hair was blonde, I felt like the black ones were easier to hide. So definitely just use whatever color you feel like works best with your hair. And I've kind of already sort of done my bangs. They will relax a little bit and I think will look a little better, but I don't ever do like a perfectly structured Betty bang. I always usually sweep it to the side, make it look a little looser. So all I did was flat iron my bangs, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove my pin curl clips and rollers. And even with the setting lotion solution and the smaller sized rollers, these curls are very relaxed. The reason for that being that I live in a very high humidity environment and I have very, very straight hair. So if you are somebody who has natural curl to your hair, or if you're somebody who lives in a less humid environment, then you may want to use slightly larger rollers for this, or larger pin curls. Okay, then I'm going to shake out the curls, just kind of like always. And I'm going to use my Denman paddle brush to break up the curls. This should be a relatively easy style. You will also need, you don't have to have this, but I think that it's kind of the star of the show, a flower crown. These are very popular as of last year. They have them at all your beauty supply, or not beauty supply, but your like accessory companies like Claire's, and they have tons of these. But I like these that are in the wire because you can kind of bend them around your head. It's still going to be a little large for my head because my head is so small, but it works better than those elastic bands because the elastic bands tend to be really hard to kind of keep in place. They'll slide around, and this sort of flower crown doesn't really slide. And I parted my hair on the side before I rolled it, but I'm actually not going to necessarily be utilizing that. I'm going to have my hair straight back behind my bangs. So the fact that it's parted doesn't really factor into anything. And now you have a nice little brushed out roller set, which, you know, you can just wear it similar to this right here, and it will be great for every day. As you can see, the more I've brushed this, the more it's relaxed. That shows you how much humidity is in the hair. So what I'm going to do now is just do a very, very simple, very casual hairstyle. This is going to be very similar to others I've done in the past, but the thing is, there's been so many styles with combs on my channel in the past whenever my quality was worse.
I hit the open road and
So I'm going to take my sides of my hair and just literally just place a comb down over them. And that, when you press the comb down into the hair going this direction, it actually will completely harness that. So then I'm going to take this top section and push it straight back. Gather it right in the middle, because I want this to look pretty smooth on top, and just bobby pin it in place. And then I'm going to take this side section and push forward just a little bit with the comb. Then I'm going to take a flower crown, like this one here, and I'm going to place it directly over that area. And I'm going to have it where the crown of flowers comes across this section. And then I'm going to take these little pieces here, and I'm going to let the sections behind the combs, I'm going to polish them out with my comb, because the combs are going to have these sections that came automatically over. And I'm going to just let them kind of fall into these little loose curls that kind of mix with the flowers. And you don't want to pin these too much. Like, you want to make sure that they still look loose no matter what. So even if you decide to pin them so that they don't look too structured, because you want to sort of have them mixing like that. See? And then you're going to take this section here, the same little area behind the combs, and just lift them up. You want to kind of feel around and make sure it's not going to be super messy back there. So we'll mess with that in a minute. But just sort of pull them forward. And like I said, if you decide to anchor them with a bobby pin, just make sure that it looks very nice and soft and doesn't look too intentionally pinned. But you can make these as structured as you'd like them. I just kind of like this sort of blousy feel to it. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of brush my bangs to the side. Take a few tendrils and pull it over the wire so that it looks like the flowers are just sort of scattered through. Usually if you just like twist the curls around your fingers, they're gonna fall back in that same curl shape because it's a wet set and that's just what they generally do. So I'm gonna just take this section, and I've covered up the wire in the back so that just a few flowers are peeking through. And now you have a nice little vintagey country girl hairstyle that is actually something that goes with 60s, 40s, 30s. It's like sort of not really era specific. It's just sort of vintage because you've used a wet set. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy Lolita's video below. And next time we'll be doing a makeup tips video. So this is sort of something that I'm enjoying doing, just like every week, doing something that's just a little bit different so that you don't have the same sort of hairstyles coming at you all the time. This one is super easy. It's one that pretty much anybody can do, and it's completely subjective. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It's just an idea as to how to use a flower crown so that it still goes with your vintage hairstyles. And that is all. Have a good day.
junction gown.